There's a 90-year-old man in my congregation who runs upstairs like a teenager. His doctor calls him a medical miracle. But I know his secret, and it has nothing to do with genetics or expensive treatments. It has everything to do with 3 simple words. He speaks to his subconscious mind every night before sleep. These 3 words literally command the infinite intelligence within you to renew every cell, every organ, every tissue. Scientists are baffled. But you and we're going to understand exactly how this works in the next 80 minutes. My friend, by the end of this teaching, you're going to possess something worth more than all the anti-aging creams, supplements, and treatments in the world combined. You're going to understand the exact mental formula, the precise sequence of thoughts and feelings that commands your subconscious mind to regenerate your body from within. This isn't theory. This is the law. It's worked for me, for countless people in my congregation, and it will work for you. I know why you're here. Perhaps you wake up and feel older than you did yesterday. Maybe you look in the mirror and wonder where your vitality went. You see younger people, and feel envious, frustrated, left behind. You've tried everything. The exercises, the diets, the treatments. But nothing seems to stop the clock. You feel invisible. You feel like life is passing you by. You're tired of being tired. And worst of all, you've started to believe this is just how it is. That this is your fate. But let me tell you something with absolute certainty. What you're experiencing has nothing to do with the passage of time. It has everything to do with the images you've been impressing upon your subconscious mind. You see, your body is simply an outpicturing of your habitual thinking. Every cell is listening to your inner conversations. And for years, you've been having the wrong conversation. Now, I'm not going to give you complicated medical jargon or expensive protocols. I'm not selling you anything. What I'm going to share is a spiritual law as reliable as gravity. It's been hidden in plain sight in every sacred text, every wisdom tradition. The ancients knew it. They called it by different names. Some called it faith. Others called it the law of assumption, the power of belief. But they all knew this truth. Your subconscious mind is the builder of your body. Change the blueprint in your mind, and your body must change. I've spent 50 years studying the subconscious mind. I've counseled thousands of people, from the desperate to the dying, from the broken to the bewildered, and I've seen miracles happen not through my power, but through their understanding and application of this principle. I'm simply a teacher sharing what works. Right now, you have a choice. You can continue believing that aging is inevitable, that youth is gone forever, that you're powerless against time. And your subconscious mind will continue creating that reality for you. Or, you can learn the secret formula that reverses this process. You can wake up tomorrow and begin the greatest transformation of your life. Not someday. Not when conditions are perfect. Right now. Today. In the next 80 minutes. Everything changes if you're ready to receive it. Let me tell you about a woman named Margaret. She was 62 years old when she first came to see me. She had been diagnosed with what her doctors called accelerated aging syndrome. Now, I don't put much stock in these medical labels, but Margaret certainly believed in them, and that was the problem. Her doctors had told her that her biological age was 78. They showed her charts, statistics, doom and gloom predictions. And Margaret accepted it all as absolute truth. She came into my office and I could see the defeat in her eyes. She told me she couldn't play with her grandchildren anymore. She avoided mirrors. She felt invisible when she walked into a room. Her husband tried to encourage her, but she would just shake her head and say, "I'm old. I'm finished. This is just how it is." I took her hand and I said, "Margaret, my dear, what if I told you that everything you believe about your condition is false? What if I told you that your body is not aging on its own, but that you're commanding it to age through your beliefs and your fears and your acceptance of these medical verdicts?" She looked at me like I was crazy. "Dr. Murphy," she said, "the tests don't lie. My biological age is 78. It's scientific fact." And I said to her, "Margaret, your tests are measuring the effect, not the cause. The cause is in your consciousness. Your body is simply obeying the orders you've been giving it for years. Every time you say I'm old, every time you accept limitation, every time you look in the mirror with disappointment, You're speaking directly to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant that it is, says yes, ma'am, and creates exactly what you're believing. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "So what do I do?" I taught her something very simple. Every night before sleep, I want you to relax your body completely. Take a few deep breaths. Then I want you to see yourself vital and energetic. See yourself playing with those grandchildren, running in the park, laughing with joy. Feel it, Margaret. Don't just picture it. Feel the energy in your body. Feel the lightness in your step. And then say thank you to your subconscious mind for renewing every cell of your being. Do this every single night. Margaret was skeptical, but she was also desperate. And desperation sometimes opens the door that logic keeps closed. She agreed to try it for 30 days. 3 weeks later, her husband called me. "Dr. Murphy," he said, "I don't know what you told Margaret, but something's happening. She's got energy I haven't seen in 10 years. She's smiling again. She's playing with the grandkids." "What did you do?" "I didn't do anything," I told him. "Margaret did it. She changed the blueprint she was giving to her subconscious mind." 6 weeks after our first meeting, Margaret walked back into my office. And I tell you, I almost didn't recognize her. Her skin had a glow to it. Her eyes were bright and clear. She moved with a spring in her step. She looked at me, and she started crying. Happy tears. "Dr. Murphy," she said, "I went back to my doctor for a follow-up. He ran all the same tests. He said, my biological age has dropped 12 years. 12 years in 6 weeks. He can't explain it. He called it medically unusual. But you and I, we know exactly what happened." Margaret stopped accepting the verdict of her senses. She stopped letting her current condition dictate her future. She spoke a new language to her subconscious mind. And her faithful subconscious mind, which knows no impossibility, began the work of renewal. It rebuilt her from within. Now, let me tell you what Margaret did in more detail, because this is important for you to understand. Every single night, without exception, she would lie in bed. She would close her eyes. She would take 3 deep breaths to relax her body. Then she would begin speaking to her subconscious mind. She would say, "My subconscious mind is now renewing every cell, every tissue, every organ of my body. I am vital and youthful. I am filled with boundless energy. My body is strong and healthy." Then she would begin to visualize. She would see herself at the playground with her grandchildren. She would see herself pushing them on the swings, running with them, laughing with them. She would see their faces light up with joy. She would feel the sun on her skin, the energy in her muscles, the happiness in her heart. She would make it so real, so vivid, that she could almost touch it. And here's the crucial part. She wouldn't just see this scene from a distance, like watching a movie. She would be in the scene. She would feel everything. The sensation of her feet hitting the ground as she ran. The warmth of her grandchildren's hands in hers. The laughter bubbling up from her chest. The pure aliveness of it all. She would feel it so deeply that tears of gratitude would stream down her face. And then, while still in this feeling, she would say, "Thank you. Thank you for renewing my body. Thank you for restoring my youth. Thank you for this gift." And she would drift off to sleep, in this state of gratitude and feeling. Margaret told me later that the first few nights, she felt foolish. Her logical mind kept saying, "This is silly. You're just imagining things. Nothing's really changing." But she persisted. She had made a commitment to try this for 30 days, and she was going to keep that commitment. By the end of the first week, something shifted. She noticed she was sleeping more deeply. She would wake up feeling more rested. Small thing, but she noticed it. The second week, she woke up one morning and realized she hadn't thought about her age yet. Usually, the first thing she thought when she opened her eyes was, "I'm so old. I'm so tired." But that morning, she just felt normal. Not old. Not young. Just present. By the third week, her husband noticed changes before she did. He said, "Margaret, you're moving differently. You're not shuffling anymore. "You're walking like you used to." And she realized he was right. She hadn't been paying attention to it, but her body was responding to the new blueprint she'd been feeding her subconscious mind every night. The fourth week is when Margaret really began to believe. She was at the grocery store, and she noticed she had parked far from the entrance. Normally, she would have been upset about the long walk, but instead, she found herself walking briskly, almost eagerly. She wasn't out of breath. Her joints didn't ache. She felt good. She felt alive. And in that moment, in the middle of a parking lot, she understood that this was working, this was really working. By the 6th week, when she returned to her doctor, she was a different person. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. She had reclaimed her power. She had stopped being a victim of time and circumstances. She had become the conscious creator of her own experience, and her body, that faithful servant, had simply followed the new orders she'd been giving it. Now, Margaret's story is remarkable. But it only demonstrates one aspect of this principle. Let me tell you about a man named Thomas. His story is even more extraordinary because he had given up completely. Thomas was 58 years old. He'd had a heart attack a year before I met him. He survived. But in his mind, he didn't. He walked around like a ghost. His doctor had told him, "Thomas, you need to take it easy. You're not young anymore. Your heart is damaged. Live a quiet life. Don't exert yourself." And Thomas took this as a death sentence. He internalized it completely. He stopped doing everything he loved. No more hiking. No more playing basketball with his son. He shuffled around his house like an old man. His wife told me he had even talked about ending it all because he felt so finished, so useless. When Thomas came to see me, I could see he was deeply depressed. He said, "Dr. Murphy, I'm broken. My body failed me. I'm just waiting to die now." I looked at him, and I said, "Thomas, your body didn't fail you. Your mind failed your body. You accepted a limitation that isn't true. You let fear and a doctor's warning become your truth. And your subconscious mind has been faithfully creating the experience of that truth for you." He was angry at first. He said, "Are you telling me this is my fault? Did I give myself a heart attack?" I said, "No, my friend. I'm not talking about fault or blame. I'm talking about power. The power you have right now. If your consciousness helped create this condition, your consciousness can help uncreate it. You're not a victim of your heart. Your heart is responding to your state of consciousness. Every beat, every rhythm, every function of your cardiovascular system is controlled by your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind takes its orders from your beliefs and feelings." Thomas didn't believe me. But I gave him something to think about. I said, "What if you spent 30 days assuming you were healthy and vital? What if you thanked your subconscious mind every night for rebuilding your cardiovascular system perfectly? What if you saw yourself doing all the things you love with a strong and healthy heart? What if you did this as an experiment? 30 days. What do you have to lose?" He sat there in silence for a long time. Finally, he said, "I'll try it. Not because I think it'll work, but because I have nothing else." That night, Thomas began his practice. He lay in bed, and he tried to visualize himself hiking. But all he could see was himself having another heart attack on the trail. Fear gripped him. His heart started racing. He almost gave up right then. But then he remembered something I'd told him. I'd said, "Thomas, when fear comes, don't fight it. Acknowledge it, and then replace it with your truth." So Thomas took a deep breath. He acknowledged the fear. He said to himself, "I see you, fear. But you're not my truth. My truth is that infinite intelligence is healing my heart right now." He started again. This time, instead of trying to see himself hiking, he just focused on feeling healthy. He placed his hand on his chest, he felt his heartbeat, and instead of fearing it, he blessed it. He said, "Thank you, my faithful heart. Thank you for beating. Thank you for serving me all these years. And now I ask my subconscious mind to strengthen you, to heal you, to restore you, to perfect function." He did this for about 10 minutes. just blessing his heart, thanking it, feeling gratitude for it. And then he said, "My subconscious mind is rebuilding my cardiovascular system now. My heart is strong. My arteries are clear. Blood flows easily and perfectly through my body. I am healthy and vital. Thank you, it is done." The first week, Thomas didn't notice much change. He still felt anxious about his heart. He still moved carefully, afraid of triggering another attack. But he kept doing his nightly practice. He'd made a commitment to 30 days, and he was a man of his word. The second week, something interesting happened. Thomas woke up one morning and realized he'd forgotten to worry about his heart. He'd slept through the night without checking his pulse, without worrying if he was going to die in his sleep. This might sound small, but for Thomas, it was huge. For a year, he'd gone to bed every night wondering if he'd wake up. Now, for the first time, he'd slept peacefully. The third week, Thomas noticed his breathing had changed. It was deeper, easier. He wasn't taking those shallow, fearful breaths anymore. He was breathing like a healthy person. And one day, without thinking about it, he walked up a flight of stairs. Not slowly, not clinging to the railing, just walked up normally. Halfway up, he realized what he was doing, and he almost panicked. But then he thought, wait, I just did that. I just walked upstairs without thinking about it. Without struggling, my heart is okay. That was the turning point for Thomas. That's when he started to believe. If he could walk upstairs without incident, maybe his heart really was healing. Maybe this practice was working. Maybe he wasn't as broken as he thought. By the fourth week, Thomas was taking short walks around his neighborhood. By the 8th week, he was walking a mile. By the 12th week, he was jogging slowly. His wife couldn't believe it. She would watch him from the window, tears streaming down her face, as he jogged down the street. Her husband, who'd been ready to die 6 months ago, was jogging. 6 months after starting his practice, Thomas went back to his cardiologist for his regular checkup. The doctor ran a full battery of tests. He did an echocardiogram to look at Thomas's heart function. He did a stress test to see how the heart responded to exertion. He ran blood work. Everything. When the results came back, the doctor called Thomas into his office. He had a puzzled look on his face. He said, "Thomas, I don't know how to explain this. When I saw you a year ago, after your heart attack, there was significant damage to your left ventricle. The ejection fraction was low. I was concerned about your long-term prognosis. But now, these new tests, they're showing something very different." Thomas leaned forward. "What do you mean?" The doctor said, "Your heart function has improved dramatically. The ejection fraction is almost normal. The scarring I saw before appears to have healed. In my 30 years of cardiology, I've never seen this kind of recovery. The human heart doesn't typically heal this way after significant damage. This is, well, it's highly unusual." Thomas smiled. He knew exactly what had happened. He'd given his subconscious mind a new set of instructions, and his subconscious mind, which controls every heartbeat, every cell division, every healing process in the body, had simply followed those new orders. Night after night, as Thomas visualized his heart, healthy and strong, as he felt the reality of perfect cardiovascular function, as he gave thanks for his healing, his subconscious mind was orchestrating a miracle of regeneration. Now, let me tell you what Thomas did beyond his nightly visualization. Because this is important. He didn't just practice at night, and then worry all day. He made his entire consciousness a statement of health. Whenever he felt a twinge of fear about his heart, he would immediately say, silently in his mind, "My heart is strong and healthy. Infinite intelligence is strengthening my heart right now." He wouldn't dwell on the fear. He would acknowledge it and replace it. When people asked him how he was feeling, he wouldn't say, "Well, I had a heart attack, so I'm taking it easy." Instead, he would say, "I'm feeling stronger every day. My body is healing beautifully." He spoke health, not sickness. He claimed vitality, not limitation. And here's something Thomas told me that I think is profound. He said, "Dr. Murphy, At first I was doing this practice because I was desperate and afraid. But somewhere along the way, it changed. I stopped doing it out of fear of dying, and started doing it out of love of living. I stopped begging my subconscious mind to save me, and started thanking it for renewing me. That shift, from fear to love, from desperation to gratitude, that's when everything accelerated. Thomas is 73 years old now as I'm speaking to you. He hikes regularly in the mountains. He plays basketball with his grandchildren. His cardiologist still shakes his head in disbelief. But Thomas understands. He knows that consciousness is causative. He knows that his subconscious mind is the builder and healer of his body. He knows that what we believe and feel with conviction becomes our reality. Now, you might be thinking these are exceptional cases, dramatic medical situations. Let me tell you about someone much more ordinary. Someone exactly like you. Her name was Sarah. She was 47 years old. A school teacher. Nothing dramatic had happened to her. No medical crisis. No diagnosis. She was just tired. Bone tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. One morning, Sarah woke up and couldn't get out of bed. Not because she was physically sick, but because she had lost all motivation. She looked at herself in the mirror and thought, I'm too tired to teach anymore. I'm too old for this. These kids drain the life out of me. I need to retire early. I'm done. Her sister came to visit that weekend and found Sarah in this defeated state. Her sister, whose name was Linda, had been studying the power of the subconscious mind. She'd read my books. She'd applied these principles in her own life. She said, Sarah, you don't have a physical problem. You have a mental problem. You're thinking yourself into exhaustion. Sarah didn't want to hear it. She said, Linda, you don't understand. I really am tired. It's not just in my head. Linda said, everything is in your head first. Then, it becomes in your body. Your fatigue is real. I'm not saying it's not. But you created it with your thoughts and beliefs. You're always saying how tired you are. You're always saying how draining your job is. You're always saying you're too old for this. And your subconscious mind, which is very obedient, is creating exactly the experience you're describing. You've programmed yourself to be exhausted. Sarah got defensive. But some part of her recognized the truth in what Linda was saying. She had been complaining about being tired for years. She'd made it part of her identity. I'm just not a morning person. I'm always tired. I don't have energy like other people. These statements had become her truth. Linda said, just try something for me. Every morning when you wake up, and every night before sleep, tell your subconscious mind that you're filled with boundless energy and vitality. See yourself teaching with enthusiasm and joy. Feel it. Really feel what it would be like to wake up energized and excited about your day. Do this for 1 month. And see what happens. Sarah agreed, mostly to get her sister to stop pestering her. She started the practice without much faith. But she was consistent. Morning and evening, she would close her eyes and say, I am filled with boundless energy. My body is renewed. I teach with joy and enthusiasm. Infinite life flows through me now. Every cell of my body is vibrating with vitality and health. Then she would visualize herself in the classroom, not dragging herself through the day, but actually engaged and enthusiastic. She would see herself with a smile on her face. She would see her students responding positively to her energy. She would feel the satisfaction of doing what she loved without exhaustion. The changes were subtle at first. Sarah noticed she slept more deeply. She had been a restless sleeper for years, waking up multiple times during the night. But now she was sleeping through the night. When her alarm went off in the morning, she wasn't hitting snooze 5 times. She was actually getting up. Then she noticed she woke up more easily. She didn't feel that heavy, drug sensation when she first opened her eyes. She felt clear, alert, not bouncing with energy, but not dragging either, just normal. And for Sarah, who'd been exhausted for so long, normal felt miraculous. By the second week, she found herself looking forward to going to school, not dreading it, not resenting it, actually looking forward to it. She caught herself humming in the shower one morning and she thought, "Who is this person? I haven't hummed in years." By the third week, her students noticed the difference. One of her students, a girl named Emma, raised her hand and said, "Miss Sarah, you seem so happy lately. What happened? Did you win the lottery or something?" Sarah laughed. She said, "No, Emma. I just got better sleep." But inside, she knew it was more than that. She had changed the instructions she was giving to her subconscious mind, and her subconscious mind was faithfully creating a new experience for her. 6 months later, Sarah was unrecognizable from the woman who couldn't get out of bed. She had more energy than teachers half her age. She started an after-school drama club. She volunteered for committees she used to avoid. She was the first to arrive at school, and often the last to leave. And she wasn't exhausted. She was exhilarated. She was alive again. Her colleagues would ask her, "Sarah, what's your secret? What vitamins are you taking? What diet are you on?" And Sarah would smile and say, "I changed my mind, literally. I changed what I was thinking and believing about myself. And when I changed my mind, my body had no choice but to follow." Sarah's story is important because she represents most of us. She wasn't facing death. She wasn't dealing with a dramatic medical condition. She was just an ordinary person who had accepted tiredness and aging as inevitable. She had programmed herself with limiting beliefs. "I'm too old for this. I don't have energy anymore. I'm just tired all the time." These beliefs became self-fulfilling prophecies, and when she changed those beliefs, when she reprogrammed her subconscious mind with thoughts of energy and vitality, everything changed. She didn't need special supplements or expensive treatments. She didn't need to quit her job or change her circumstances. She just needed to change her consciousness. And her external experience changed to match her internal shift. Now, let me tell you something else about Sarah that's instructive. About 4 months into her practice, she had a setback. She got a cold. Just a regular cold, nothing serious. But when she woke up with a stuffy nose and a sore throat, her first thought was, "See? I knew this wouldn't last. I'm still weak. I'm still old. The tiredness is coming back." She called her sister Linda in a panic. Linda said, "Sarah, listen to me. Having a cold doesn't mean your practice isn't working. Colds happen. Even healthy, vital people get colds sometimes. The question is, what are you going to do right now? Are you going to use this cold as evidence that you're weak and old? Or are you going to maintain your conviction that you're vital and healthy, while also allowing your body to heal from this temporary condition?" Sarah realized she'd been about to throw away 4 months of progress because of one cold. She'd been about to go back to her old identity of the tired, weak, old woman. Instead, she chose differently. She said to herself, "I have a cold right now. That's temporary. But my true nature is vibrant health and vitality. This cold will pass quickly because my immune system is strong." And it did pass quickly. Within 3 days, she was back to normal. And more importantly, she hadn't lost her momentum. She hadn't fallen back into the old pattern of thinking. She'd proven to herself that she could maintain her new consciousness, even when circumstances seemed to contradict it. This is an important lesson for you, my friend. You will have setbacks. You will have days when you don't feel youthful and vital. You will have moments of doubt. This is normal. This is part of being human. The question is not whether these moments will come. The question is, what will you do when they come? Will you use them as evidence that this principle doesn't work? Or will you persist in your new assumption, despite temporary contrary conditions? These stories all point to one principle. But before I give you that principle directly, let me tell you about the most important story of all. A story thousands of years old. There's an ancient parable about 2 villages. Each village had a fountain in the center of town. One fountain was called the Fountain of Bitterness. The other was called the Fountain of Renewal. The people of the first village drank from the Fountain of Bitterness. They aged quickly. They suffered many illnesses. They died young. They believed their fountain was cursed. The people of the second village drank from the Fountain of Renewal. They remained vital and healthy, well into old age. They lived long lives filled with energy and joy. They believed their fountain was blessed. Here's the remarkable part of this parable. Both fountains drew from the same underground source. The same water flowed into both fountains. The water was chemically identical. There was no difference in the actual substance they were drinking. The difference wasn't in the water. The difference was in what each village believed about their fountain. The people who believed they were drinking from a cursed fountain experienced sickness and rapid aging. The people who believed they were drinking from a blessed fountain experienced health and vitality. Same water. Different beliefs. Different results. One village had a story passed down through generations that their fountain was cursed by a witch hundreds of years ago. Every child grew up hearing this story. They believed it completely. When they drank from the fountain, they expected sickness. They expected aging. They expected death. And their faithful subconscious minds delivered exactly what they expected. The other village had a story that their fountain was blessed by a saint hundreds of years ago. Every child grew up hearing this story. They believed it completely. When they drank from the fountain, they expected health. They expected vitality. They expected long life. And their faithful subconscious minds delivered exactly what they expected. Do you see the wisdom in this parable? Your body is the fountain. Your subconscious mind is the underground source. The life force that flows through you, whether it brings renewal or decay, is determined by what you believe about it, not by what is actually true in some objective sense, but by what you accept as true in your consciousness. Right now, in this very moment, you're drinking from one of these fountains. Which one? Are you telling yourself that aging is inevitable? That your body is breaking down? That youth is behind you? That you're over the hill? That your best days are gone? Then you're drinking from the fountain of bitterness. You've accepted a curse, and your faithful subconscious mind is creating that experience for you. Or are you telling yourself that renewal is your birthright? That infinite intelligence is rebuilding your body every moment? That vitality and youth are states of consciousness, not states of time? That your best days can be right now? Then you're drinking from the fountain of renewal. You've accepted a blessing. And your subconscious mind is creating that experience for you. The choice, my friend, is always yours. You decide which fountain you drink from, by what you accept in your consciousness. And here's the beautiful truth. Even if you've been drinking from the fountain of bitterness for decades, you can switch to the fountain of renewal, right now. Right this moment. It's never too late. Your subconscious mind doesn't care about your past. It only responds to your present consciousness. This parable contains the entire secret. And now, I'm going to break down exactly what it means and how you apply it. But first, let me tell you my own story, because I want you to know that I'm not speaking as someone who has always had this figured out. I'm speaking as someone who had to learn this lesson the hard way. I was 45 years old. I looked in the mirror one morning, and I saw my father staring back at me. My father had died at 62. He'd aged rapidly, in his 50s. He always looked tired, worn down by life. Gray, heavy, old. And there I was, seeing his face in my reflection. I was shocked. I was defeated. I thought, this is it. This is what aging looks like. This is my genetic destiny. I'm becoming my father. For weeks, I felt older every day. The wrinkles around my eyes seemed deeper. My energy seemed lower. My body felt heavier. And here's the thing. I, who taught these principles to others, had forgotten to apply them to myself. I had exempted myself from the law. I had accepted limitation without question, just like everyone else. And my body was showing me the fruits of that acceptance. Then one night, I had what I can only call a spiritual crisis. I sat in my study, surrounded by my books about the subconscious mind, about the power of belief, about consciousness creating reality, and I felt like a hypocrite. I sat there and I said to myself, Joseph, what are you doing? If these principles are true, if the subconscious mind really creates according to belief, if consciousness really is causative, then why are you accepting this limitation? You teach others, but you're not applying it yourself. You know better. That night changed everything. I made a decision. I would apply the same principles I taught others. I would treat my own consciousness with the same care I advised my congregation to use. I would practice what I preach. No more exempting myself. No more saying, well, this works for other people, but maybe not for me. If the law is universal, then it applies to me too. I began a practice that night that I've continued for 35 years. Every night before sleep, I relax completely. I breathe deeply, releasing all tension from my body, and I speak to my subconscious mind. I say, infinite intelligence within me is renewing every cell of my body. I am filled with divine life. My body is strong, healthy, and vital. I feel wonderful. I give thanks for this renewal. I give thanks for the perfection of my body. I give thanks for energy, vitality, and youth. And then I imagine myself doing the things I love with energy and enthusiasm. I see myself speaking to my congregation with vitality and passion. I see myself writing with clarity and focus. I see myself walking with a spring in my step. I see people looking at me and seeing someone vital and alive, not someone old and tired. I feel the reality of perfect health. I feel gratitude for this gift. I accept it as already done. And I drift off to sleep in that state of acceptance and thanksgiving. The first few weeks, I'll admit, I had doubts. I would wake up and look in the mirror and think, nothing's changed. This isn't working. But then I would remind myself of what I teach others. Evidence is always past tense. What you see now is the result of old consciousness. Keep impressing the new blueprint. Trust the law. So I persisted. After about a month, my wife said something. She said, Joseph, you seem different lately. You're moving differently. You seem lighter somehow. I hadn't noticed it myself. But she saw the change before I did. And that encouraged me to continue. After 3 months, people in my congregation started commenting. Dr. Murphy, you look so well. What's your secret? At first I would deflect. But then I realized, this is exactly what I teach. I should share it openly. So I started telling people the truth. I changed what I believe about aging. I stopped accepting limitation. I reprogrammed my subconscious mind with thoughts of renewal. And my body is responding. 35 years later, I'm 81 years old. People ask me constantly, Dr. Murphy, what's your secret? How do you have such energy at your age? How do you still speak with such passion and clarity? How do you work full days without exhaustion? And I tell them the truth. It's not a secret. It's not mysterious. I simply changed the program I was running in my subconscious mind. That's all. Nothing magical. Nothing mystical. Just the application of a simple, reliable law. I'm not special. I'm not uniquely gifted. I don't have special genetics. If anything, based on my father's early death, my genetics should have worked against me, but I simply applied the law. I used the same principles I teach you today. And if it worked for me, it will work for you. You have the same mind. You have the same power. You have the same creative subconscious. The only difference between us is that I'm applying it consistently, and you're about to start. Now, let me show you exactly how it works. These stories, Margaret's transformation, Thomas's healing, Sarah's renewed energy, my own journey, they all demonstrate one fundamental truth. And that truth is what I'm about to explain to you now. Get comfortable, my friend, open your mind. Because what you're about to learn will change everything you thought you knew about aging, youth, and the creative power of your mind. Here is the foundation of everything. Your subconscious mind is the builder of your body. Not was. Is. Right now, in this very moment, your subconscious mind is creating your body. It's not something that happened in the past. It's happening now. Continuously, ceaselessly, every second of every day. Scientists tell us that you have a completely new body every 7 years. Some parts renew even faster. The lining of your stomach is replaced every few days. Your skin cells renew constantly. Your red blood cells are replaced every few months. Your entire skeleton is rebuilt every 10 years. Right now, as you listen to my words, Your body is in a constant state of renewal and regeneration. Old cells are dying, and new cells are being created. This is happening automatically, orchestrated by your subconscious mind. And here's what most people don't understand. Your subconscious mind takes orders from your conscious thoughts and beliefs. It cannot reject any order. It doesn't argue with you. It doesn't question you. It doesn't say, "Are you sure about this?" It simply obeys. Whatever you impress upon your subconscious mind, whatever you believe with feeling and conviction, it will bring into manifestation in your body and your life. If you impress thoughts of age and decay, your subconscious mind creates age and decay. If you impress thoughts of youth and vitality, your subconscious mind creates youth and vitality. It's not choosing. It's not judging. It's executing your orders. It's building according to your blueprint. Your body, at this moment, is a perfect printout of your habitual thinking. Look at your body. Whatever you see, you created through your thoughts and beliefs. Not consciously, perhaps. Most people don't know they're doing this. Most people think aging just happens to them. But you've been creating your experience all along through your unconscious beliefs and expectations. Think of your subconscious mind as a garden. The most perfect, most fertile garden imaginable. Whatever seeds you plant in that garden will grow. The garden doesn't judge your seeds. It doesn't say, "Oh, this is a good seed, I'll grow it quickly. And this is a bad seed, I'll reject it." The garden simply grows whatever you plant. If you plant seeds of fear, you harvest fear. If you plant seeds of limitation, you harvest limitation. If you plant seeds of sickness, you harvest sickness. If you plant seeds of renewal, you harvest renewal. The garden is neutral. It's faithful. It's obedient. Here's the mechanism, and this is crucial to understand. Your thoughts create images in your mind. These images create feelings and emotions. These feelings impress your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind creates the physical conditions that match those impressions. This is happening automatically, all the time, without your conscious awareness. Let me give you an example of how this works. You look in the mirror and you think, "I look old." That's the thought. Immediately, an image forms in your mind of yourself as old, declining, deteriorating. That's the image. That image generates feelings. Sadness, perhaps. Defeat. Resignation. Loss. That's the feeling. Those feelings impress your subconscious mind deeply, especially if they're repeated often. And your subconscious mind, faithful servant that it is, says, "Yes, you're old," and it begins creating conditions that match that belief. More wrinkles, less energy, more stiffness, deeper aches. Not because time is doing this to you, not because aging is inevitable, but because your consciousness is instructing your subconscious to create this experience. Now here's the part that frustrates people when they first hear it. They say, "But Dr. Murphy, I never wanted to age. I never wanted to feel old. I never wanted wrinkles and pain and tiredness. I never consciously chose this. How can you say I created it?" And I say, you created it unconsciously. You've been programmed since childhood. From the time you were a small child, you've been absorbing beliefs about aging from everyone around you. Your parents aged. Your grandparents aged. Everyone you knew accepted aging as a natural, inevitable law. You heard people say, "You're not getting any younger." You heard people say, "Wait till you hit 40, then everything goes downhill." You heard people complain about their aches and pains, and attribute it all to age. You absorbed all of this. It went deep into your subconscious mind, without any critical examination. It became part of your unconscious programming. Society has hypnotized you, along with everyone else, into believing that aging and deterioration are inevitable. And your subconscious mind, which doesn't know the difference between a true belief and a false belief, which doesn't know the difference between a helpful program and a harmful one, simply started executing that program. But here's the glorious truth. Here's the liberating, empowering, life-changing truth. If you created this unconsciously, you can uncreate it consciously. If you built it, you can rebuild it. If you programmed it, you can reprogram it. The past doesn't matter. What you believed yesterday doesn't matter. What your parents believed doesn't matter. What society expects doesn't matter. What matters is what you believe and accept right now, in this present moment. Your subconscious mind is listening right now. Your body is being created right now. And you can change the instructions you're giving right now. This very moment is a fresh start. This very moment is an opportunity to plant new seeds in your garden. This very moment is when you can choose to drink from the fountain of renewal instead of the fountain of bitterness. Now let me address some common misconceptions, because people have been taught wrong things about aging. They think aging is a natural law like gravity. They think it's biological. They think it's genetic. They think it's inevitable. But it's not. Aging is a belief system. It's a mass hypnosis. It's something that happens because we expect it to happen, accept it as inevitable, and impress that expectation on our subconscious minds. If aging were a true natural law, it would happen the same way to everyone at the same rate. But it doesn't. Some people age rapidly in their 40s. Others remain vital and youthful into their 80s and 90s. Some people look and feel old at 30. Others look and feel young at 70. The difference is not genetics. The difference is consciousness. The difference is what they believe and accept about themselves. I've known people who retired at 65 and died within a year. Why? Because they accepted society's verdict that they were old and done. They internalized the belief that their productive life was over. Their subconscious mind received that instruction and shut down the body. I've known other people who remained active, engaged, enthusiastic well into their 90s. Why? Because they never accepted the limitation. They continued to see themselves as vital and purposeful. Their subconscious mind received that instruction and maintained the body in perfect working order. So if the subconscious builds the body according to our beliefs, what exactly should we believe? What is the correct blueprint for eternal renewal? This brings us to the second major principle. Youth is not a state of body. Youth is a state of mind. This is a paradigm shift for most people. They think youth is something that belongs to a certain age range. You're young when you're 20. You're middle-aged when you're 45. You're old when you're 70. Society has these rigid categories and everyone accepts them without question. But this is completely false. This is completely backwards. Youth is not an age. Youth is not a number on your birth certificate. Youth is not how many years you've been alive. Youth is an attitude. Youth is a quality of consciousness. Youth is enthusiasm for life. Youth is curiosity. Youth is adaptability. Youth is openness to new experiences. Youth is vitality. Youth is the feeling of possibility and potential. Youth is the belief that your best days can be right now, regardless of your chronological age. You can have these qualities at any age. I've met 30-year-olds who are old. Not in years, but in consciousness. They're cynical, they're bitter, they're tired of life. They've given up on their dreams. They shuffle through their days with no enthusiasm, no joy, no zest. They're just going through the motions, waiting for the weekend, waiting for retirement, waiting for life to be over. That's old consciousness in a young body. And I've met 80-year-olds who are young. Not in years, but in consciousness. They're excited about life. They're learning new things. They're trying new experiences. They're full of energy and curiosity. They wake up eager for the new day. They see possibilities everywhere. They're engaged, alive, vital. That's young consciousness. In what society calls an old body. What's the difference between these two types of people? It's not their genes. It's not their circumstances. It's not luck. The difference is consciousness. The difference is what they believe about themselves. The difference is the mental attitude they hold. The difference is which fountain they're drinking from. Here's the mechanism of how this works, and it's so important to understand this. Your body reads your self-concept and matches it. Every thought you think about yourself is an instruction to your cells. When you think, "I'm old," your body says, "Yes, sir," and it acts accordingly. Your posture slumps. Your movements slow. Your energy decreases. Your face takes on the expression of age. Your voice loses its vitality. Not because time is forcing this, but because your consciousness is commanding it. Your body is simply being the faithful servant it always is. When you think, "I'm vital and youthful," your body says, "Yes, sir," and it acts accordingly. Your posture improves. You stand taller. Your movements become more fluid, more graceful. Your energy increases. Your face lights up. Your voice has strength and clarity. Your eyes sparkle. Same body, different instruction, different result. Let me give you proof that this is true. Proof from your own experience. Think about a time when you received wonderful, exciting news. Maybe you got a promotion at work. Maybe you fell in love. Maybe you achieved something you'd been working toward for years. Maybe you got surprising good news from a doctor. In that moment, when you heard that wonderful news, did you feel old? Did you feel tired? Did you feel your age? No. You felt energized. You felt young. You felt like you could conquer the world. You felt alive, vibrant, powerful. Your body responded instantly to your elevated consciousness. Now think about a time when you received bad news. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe a relationship ended. Maybe you failed at something important. Maybe you got bad news about your health or your finances. In that moment, when you heard that bad news, did you feel young? Did you feel energized? No. You felt heavy. You felt tired. You felt old. You felt defeated. You felt like life was crushing you. Same body, different consciousness, different physical experience. This proves beyond any doubt that your body is not creating your experience. Your consciousness is creating your experience, and your body is reflecting it like a perfect mirror. Your body is effect, never cause. Causation is always in consciousness. Always. Without exception. Throughout history, there have been people who defied what society calls the aging process. They remained vital, healthy, active, enthusiastic well into what society considers old age. Artists creating their best work in their 70s and 80s. Scientists making breakthroughs in their 90s. Musicians performing with energy and passion into advanced age. Athletes competing at high levels long past when society says they should slow down. What did they know that others didn't? They knew, consciously or unconsciously, that youth is a state of mind. They refused to accept society's programming about age. They maintained a youthful consciousness, and their bodies had no choice but to reflect that consciousness. They kept their enthusiasm. They kept their curiosity. They kept their sense of possibility, and because they held that internal state, their external experience matched it. So I ask you, what are you telling your body right now? What is your habitual self-talk about age? Do you say things like, "I'm getting old. I'm not as young as I used to be. I can't do that anymore at my age. My memory's not what it used to be. My body's breaking down. I'm over the hill." These are all instructions to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is faithful. It will create exactly what you're telling it to create. It will manifest exactly what you're expecting and accepting. You might ask, "Dr. Murphy, this sounds wonderful, but how do I actually change these deep beliefs I've held for years? How do I reprogram patterns that have been running my whole life?" That brings us to the most powerful secret. The secret formula. The exact process that Margaret used, that Thomas used, that Sarah used, that I use every single day. And I'm going to give it to you now. The formula has 3 parts, 3 essential components that must all be present for transformation to occur. Impression, feeling, and acceptance. These 3 components, working together, create unstoppable, inevitable transformation. Let me explain each one in detail. First, impression. You must create a clear mental image of yourself as vital and youthful, not as you currently appear in the mirror, not as you hope to become someday in the future, but as you choose to be right now, in consciousness. Close your eyes and see yourself moving with energy and grace. See yourself doing activities you love with enthusiasm and ease. See yourself looking in the mirror with satisfaction and joy. See yourself as others see you, and they see vitality, health, youthfulness. Make this image as vivid and detailed as possible. See the specifics. See yourself in particular situations that imply youthfulness and vitality. The clearer the impression, the deeper it penetrates into your subconscious mind. Second, feeling. This is the secret ingredient. This is what separates those who get results from those who just daydream. This is what makes impression powerful and penetrating. You must feel the reality of this image. Don't just picture it intellectually like watching a movie. Don't just observe it from a distance. Be in the image. Experience it. Feel the energy coursing through your body. Feel the strength in your muscles. Feel the clarity in your mind. Feel the lightness in your movements. Feel the joy bubbling up inside you. Feel grateful that this is your reality. Emotion is the language your subconscious mind understands best. Feeling is what impresses the subconscious deeply and permanently. Without feeling, visualization is just empty daydreaming. With feeling, visualization becomes creative power. Third, acceptance. You must accept this as already done. This is perhaps the hardest part for people to grasp, but it's absolutely essential. You must live from the end result, not toward it. You must assume it's already true in consciousness, already accomplished, already yours, just waiting to manifest in physical form. This is not something you're trying to achieve. This is not something that might happen, if you're lucky. This is something that is already true at the level of consciousness, and physical manifestation is simply catching up. You must give thanks before you see physical evidence. You must feel gratitude for what is already accomplished in the invisible, before it becomes visible. This is faith. This is the secret of all manifestation. This is what separates those who transform their lives from those who just wish things were different. Now, why does each component matter? Why can't you just do one or two? Because impression without feeling is powerless daydreaming. You can picture yourself as youthful all day long, create the most vivid mental movies, but if you don't feel it, if there's no emotional involvement, nothing happens. It's like planting seeds in concrete. The subconscious mind responds to feeling, not to empty visualization. The feeling is what gives the impression power to penetrate and impress. Feeling without impression is scattered emotional energy. You might feel good temporarily, you might get excited about the possibility of renewal, but without a clear direction, without a specific image for that energy to flow toward, that energy dissipates without creating lasting change. It's like having powerful electricity, but no wiring to direct it where you want it to go. And both impression and feeling without acceptance is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing. You're asking your subconscious mind for something while simultaneously doubting it will happen. You're impressing the image and feeling it, but then you're checking for results, looking for evidence, wondering if it's working. This doubt, this lack of acceptance, this living toward the result, instead of from it, this cancels out your work. It's like stepping on the gas and the brake at the same time, but when you combine all three, when you create a clear impression, with deep feeling and complete acceptance, you've given your subconscious mind the perfect instruction, the complete blueprint, the total package. And your subconscious mind must obey. This is law. This is how creation works. This is the secret formula that has worked for thousands of years and will work for you right now. Let me go even deeper into the science of this, because understanding why it works increases your faith, and faith is essential. Your subconscious mind receives impressions through your imagination and your feeling. It's designed this way. It doesn't receive impressions from the outside world directly. It receives them from your conscious mind, from what you think and feel and believe. And here's the crucial part. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real physical experience. When you imagine yourself youthful and vital with corresponding feelings, your subconscious mind accepts this as reality. To your subconscious mind, if you're thinking it and feeling it with conviction, it must be real. So it begins the process of making your outer experience match what it believes is your inner reality. It starts sending out the signals, activating the chemistry, orchestrating the cellular changes that will manifest what you've impressed upon it. This is why worry makes you sick. When you worry, you're imagining something terrible happening. You're creating vivid mental images of disaster. And you're feeling it deeply, fear and anxiety and dread. Your subconscious mind receives these impressions, and says, "This must be real, this must be happening," and it creates the physical conditions that match your worry. People literally worry themselves sick. They create illness through imagination and feeling. The same principle works in reverse for health and youth. When you imagine vitality and feel it deeply, your subconscious mind says, "This must be real, this must be who we are," and it creates conditions that match your positive imagination and feeling. Same law. Different direction, different result. Feeling is the language of the subconscious. Your subconscious mind doesn't understand words the way your conscious mind does. It understands feeling, emotion, sensation. When you feel something deeply, you're speaking directly to the creative power within you. You're bypassing the critical, doubting conscious mind, and communicating directly with the builder of your body. This is why people who worry themselves sick literally become sick. Their worry creates strong feelings of fear and anxiety and dread, and the subconscious mind faithfully creates conditions that match those feelings. This is why people who are deeply in love suddenly have boundless energy and vitality. Their love creates strong feelings of joy and excitement and aliveness. And the subconscious mind creates conditions that match those feelings. Now let's talk about acceptance and what I call the law of assumption. This is the advanced teaching, but it's crucial that you understand it. You must assume your desire is already fulfilled in consciousness before it manifests in form. You must live from the wish fulfilled, not toward it. This is what the ancient scriptures mean when they say, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Not believe that you will receive it someday. Believe that you have received it. Already. Now. Past tense. This is acceptance. Most people pray or visualize from a state of wanting, from a state of lack. They say, "I want to be young again, I want to have energy, I want to feel vital." But this is the wrong approach, because wanting implies lack. When you want something, you're affirming you don't have it. You're affirming its absence. And your subconscious mind, being faithful, creates the experience of not having it, the experience of wanting it, the experience of lacking it. The correct approach is living from the end. Assume it's already done. Assume it's already true. Give thanks that it's already accomplished. Feel the reality of it now, not as something coming in the future but as something that is. When you do this, you're impressing the subconscious mind with the end result, the completed state, and the subconscious mind then creates whatever means are necessary to manifest that end result in your physical experience. This is how all creation works. The end must exist first in consciousness before it can exist in form. The building must exist as a blueprint before it can exist as a structure. The invention must exist as an idea before it can exist as a device. Your youthful, vital body must exist in your consciousness before it can exist in your physical experience. You must become it in mind before you can see it in body. Now, people make common mistakes with this formula, and I want to tell you what they are so you can avoid them and save yourself time and frustration. Mistake number 1 is trying to force the subconscious mind. They tense up their whole body. They concentrate really hard, straining with mental effort. They clench their fists and their jaw. They try to make it happen through sheer willpower and intensity. This creates the exact opposite effect of what they want. The subconscious mind responds to relaxation, not tension. It responds to faith, not force. It responds to gentle, persistent suggestion, not violent effort. Think of it like falling asleep. You can't force yourself to fall asleep. The harder you try, the more awake you become. But when you relax, when you let go, when you gently drift, sleep comes naturally. It's the same with impressing your subconscious mind. When you're relaxed and accepting and gentle, the subconscious mind opens and receives. When you're tense and forcing and straining, you block its operation. Mistake number 2 is checking for results constantly. They do their visualization at night with perfect impression, feeling, and acceptance. Then they wake up in the morning and immediately check their body for changes. They rush to the mirror expecting to see dramatic transformation overnight. They examine every wrinkle. They analyze every feeling in their body. When they don't see instant, visible results, they get discouraged. They think it's not working. They doubt the process. And this doubt, this constant checking, this looking for evidence before faith has had time to work, this cancels out their work. Remember, you're planting a seed in your subconscious mind. Seeds need time to germinate. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up the next day to see if it's growing. That would kill the seed. You plant the seed, cover it with soil, water it regularly, and then leave it alone. Trust that underground, invisible to your eyes, the natural process is working. The seed is absorbing water, splitting open, sending down roots, preparing to burst through the surface. But this takes time, and checking constantly, doubting constantly, is like digging up your seed every day. It prevents the natural process from completing. Your job is to plant the seed every night with your visualization, water it with faith and feeling, and then leave it alone during the day. Trust the process. Trust the law. Trust that your subconscious mind is working on your behalf every moment, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. Mistake number 3 is mixing the impression with fear or worry. They visualize youth and vitality, but then immediately think, but what if it doesn't work? What if I'm too far gone? What if this is just false hope? What if I'm wasting my time? They mix faith with doubt, acceptance with resistance, positive images with negative expectations. This creates confused, contradictory instructions for the subconscious mind. It's like telling your subconscious, make me youthful, but also I don't really believe you can. The subconscious mind doesn't know which instruction to follow when you give it opposite commands simultaneously. You must be single-minded. When you're doing your practice, hold only the positive image, hold only the feeling of vitality, hold only the acceptance of renewal. If doubt arises, acknowledge it briefly, and then return to your chosen impression. Don't fight the doubt. Don't give it power by arguing with it. Just gently return to your truth. Again and again. This trains your consciousness to hold steady on what you want, rather than wavering between what you want and what you fear. Mistake number 4 is quitting before the subconscious has time to manifest results. They try this practice for a week or 2. They don't see dramatic visible changes. They say, see, I knew this wouldn't work for me. This is just positive thinking nonsense. It works for other people but not for me. And they quit. They go back to their old patterns of thinking. They go back to accepting age and limitation. And then, of course, nothing changes. But the subconscious mind has its own timing. The gestation period varies from person to person, from condition to condition. Some people see results very quickly. Margaret saw changes within 3 weeks. Others take longer. It might be 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months before they see physical evidence. But if you persist in your assumption, if you continue impressing your subconscious mind consistently with the image of youth and vitality, if you maintain the feeling and the acceptance despite lack of immediate evidence, results must come. This is law. The law never fails. Only our application of the law fails. Only our faith in the law fails. So what's the correct approach? How should you actually practice this? The correct approach is this. Plant the seed with perfect impression, feeling, and acceptance. Do this every night, before sleep, when your subconscious is most receptive. Do it consistently, making it a non-negotiable part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth. Then release it. Let go of it during the day. Go about your daily life with quiet confidence that your subconscious mind is working on your behalf. Don't be anxious about it. Don't obsess over it. Don't check constantly for results. Just live your life, do your work, enjoy your activities, and at night, return to your practice. Keep planting the seed. Keep watering it with faith and feeling. And trust. Trust the law as you trust gravity. When you drop a stone, you don't worry whether gravity will work. You don't check every second to make sure the stone is still falling. You know gravity is reliable. You trust it completely. Have the same confidence in the law of mind. Now let me give you real-world examples of exactly how this formula has worked. The specific details of application. Margaret, remember, created a clear impression every night of herself, playing with her grandchildren. She didn't just vaguely picture youth. She saw specific scenes. She saw herself at the park. She saw the swing set. She saw her grandchildren's faces. She saw herself pushing them, running with them, laughing with them, specific, detailed, vivid. Then she felt it. She didn't just watch the scene in her mind. She entered into it. She felt the warmth of the sun on her arms. She felt the ground under her feet as she ran. She felt the tug of her grandson's hand pulling her toward the slide. She felt her own laughter bubbling up from her chest. She felt the pure joy of movement, of play, of being alive and vital with the people she loved most. She sank into this feeling until tears came to her eyes, tears of gratitude and happiness. And then she accepted it. She said, "Thank you. Thank you that this is my reality. Thank you that my subconscious mind is creating this experience for me. Thank you that I am vital and youthful." And she fell asleep in that state of thanksgiving, that state of acceptance, that state of living from the end result. She did this every single night. Even on nights when she didn't feel like it. Even on nights when nothing seemed to be changing. Even on nights when doubt whispered, "This is pointless." She did it anyway, because she had made a commitment. She had decided to give this principle a fair test, and her consistency was rewarded. Her faithfulness to the practice, even when evidence was contrary, even when logic said it wasn't working, that faithfulness is what allowed the law to work fully in her life. Thomas used the same formula, but applied it differently, because his situation was different. He created an impression of his heart strong and healthy. He would place his hand on his chest and visualize his heart as powerful, steady, perfect. He would see his arteries clear and flexible. He would see blood flowing easily through his entire cardiovascular system. He would see himself hiking up a mountain trail, his heart pumping strongly, his breathing easy and deep. Then he would feel it. He would feel the strength of each heartbeat. He would feel the vitality flowing through every blood vessel. He would feel gratitude for this amazing organ that had served him faithfully all his life, and was now being renewed and strengthened by infinite intelligence. He would feel the reality of perfect cardiovascular health, as if it were already fully manifested in his body, and then he would accept it. He would say, "My heart is perfect. My cardiovascular system is perfect. Infinite intelligence is rebuilding it now, according to the divine blueprint. I accept this healing. I accept this renewal. I give thanks. It is done." And he would release it, drift off to sleep knowing that his subconscious mind was working on his behalf all night long. Thomas did this every night for months. And even during the day, whenever he thought about his heart, instead of feeling fear, he would feel gratitude. Instead of worrying about another heart attack, he would affirm his heart's strength. He maintained his consciousness of health, despite contrary medical opinions, despite statistics, despite what seemed logical, based on his past condition. He lived from the wish fulfilled, and in time, his wish became his physical reality. This formula is simple. 3 components: impression, feeling, acceptance. But don't mistake simple for easy. It requires consistency. It requires discipline. It requires faith. It requires the willingness to persist despite contrary evidence, despite doubt, despite the voice of logic that says nothing is changing. But when you apply it correctly, when you use all 3 components together, persistently over time, the results are inevitable. The results are guaranteed, because you are working with law. And law is absolutely reliable. Now, here's something else you must understand, something that will change your entire perspective, and empower you completely. You're already using this formula. You've been using it your entire life. You just didn't know you were using it. And you were using it unconsciously, haphazardly, with no direction or purpose, which means you were getting unconscious, haphazard results. Every condition in your body right now, every physical characteristic, every level of energy, or lack of energy, you created, not consciously, perhaps, not deliberately, but you created it through your habitual thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Your subconscious mind has been perfectly executing your dominant beliefs all along. If you believed aging is inevitable, your subconscious created aging. If you believe tiredness is normal for your age, your subconscious created tiredness. If you believed your body is breaking down, your subconscious orchestrated breakdown, not because it wants to harm you, but because it's obeying your instructions. It has no choice. It's designed to manifest what you believe and feel. This is both sobering and liberating. It's sobering because it means you can't blame anyone else anymore. You can't blame genetics, time, circumstances, bad luck, your parents, society, your doctor. You created your current condition through consciousness. The buck stops with you. But it's liberating, gloriously liberating, because if you created it, you can uncreate it. If you built it, you can rebuild it. If you programmed it, you can reprogram it. The power was always yours. You just didn't know you had it. You were using it unconsciously to create limitation. Now you're going to use it consciously to create renewal. Think about times in your life when you worried yourself sick. Maybe you had a big presentation coming up at work. You worried about it constantly. You pictured yourself failing, stumbling over words, forgetting what to say, seeing disapproval on people's faces. You felt the anxiety, the fear, the dread. You accepted failure as likely, and what happened? You got sick. You developed a headache, a stomachache, maybe even a fever. You might have actually had to cancel the presentation because you were too sick to give it. This is proof positive of the mind-body connection. Your worry, which was nothing but negative imagination, plus negative feeling plus negative acceptance, created a physical condition. Your subconscious mind received your worrying as instructions and said, yes, something terrible is happening. We need to create stress responses in the body. And it did. It created the exact physical condition that matched your mental state. Or think about times when excitement energized you. Maybe you were looking forward to something wonderful. A vacation to a place you'd always wanted to visit. A celebration with loved ones. A reunion with someone you hadn't seen in years. You pictured it vividly. You felt joyful anticipation. You accepted it as certain. And what happened? You felt energized. You had more vitality. You needed less sleep. Physical fatigue disappeared. Aches and pains you'd been feeling vanished. You felt younger, lighter, more alive. This is the same principle working in your favor. Your excitement, which was positive imagination plus positive feeling, plus positive acceptance, created a positive physical condition. Your subconscious mind received your excitement as instructions, and said, yes, wonderful things are happening, we need to create energy and vitality in the body. And it did. Your body has always been your faithful servant. It has never disobeyed you. It has never rebelled against you. It has always created what you impressed upon your subconscious mind. Always. Without exception. The problem was never with your body, or your subconscious mind. The problem was with the instructions you were giving, unconsciously, habitually, without awareness. You were unconsciously programming limitation, decay, and aging through your habitual self-talk, through accepting society's expectations, through agreeing with negative medical verdicts, through looking in the mirror with disappointment, through saying things like I'm so old, I'm so tired, I can't do that anymore, my body's failing me. Every one of these thoughts and statements was an instruction to your faithful subconscious mind. And your faithful subconscious mind created exactly what you told it to create. But from this moment forward, you're going to consciously program renewal, vitality, and youth. You're going to take control of the only thing you can truly control. Your consciousness. You're going to become aware of your thoughts, and deliberately choose empowering ones. You're going to catch yourself in negative self-talk, and immediately replace it with positive affirmations. You're going to look in the mirror, and see not current limitations but future possibilities. You're going to speak words of life and health and youth instead of words of decay and age, and limitation. This brings us to the question of responsibility and power. When you truly understand this principle, you can no longer play the victim. You can no longer say, aging is happening to me. Time is doing this to me. My genetics are working against me. My doctor says this is inevitable. No. You are creating every moment through your consciousness. You are the writer, the director, and the producer of your life. Your body is the screen on which your consciousness projects its images. This is empowering beyond measure. This is freedom in its purest form. This means you're not at the mercy of external forces. You're not helpless against time. You're not a passive victim of biology. You have creative power right now, at this very moment, in this very breath, and that power is your consciousness, your ability to think, to feel, to believe, to accept, to assume. Nobody can take this power from you. Nobody can control your consciousness unless you allow them to. You are the master of your own mind, and therefore the master of your own experience. So the question becomes, what will you write from this day forward? What story will you tell about yourself? What blueprint will you give your faithful servant, your subconscious mind? Will you continue the old program of limitation and decay, just because that's what everyone else does, just because society expects it? Or will you install a new program of renewal and vitality? Will you dare to be different? Will you dare to challenge the mass hypnosis? Will you dare to prove that consciousness is causative? The choice is yours. And the choice is made new every moment. Every thought is a choice. Every word is a choice. Every image you hold in your mind is a choice. And these choices, accumulated over days and weeks and months, create your physical reality. Choose wisely. Choose consciously. Choose renewal. Now let me explain something called the law of reversibility, and this is crucial to understanding how transformation actually happens, how change actually occurs in your life. Most people approach change from the outside in. They try to change their body in order to feel younger. They exercise, they diet, they take supplements, they get treatments, all in an attempt to create the feeling of youth. This is working from outside in, from effect to cause. And while these external actions may have some temporary benefit, may produce some surface changes, they're working from effect rather than cause. They're trying to fix the result, without changing what created the result in the first place. The law works from inside out, from cause to effect. Change your consciousness first, and your body must follow. Establish the mental state of youth and vitality first. Feel it, accept it, live in it. And then your body, which is always effect and never cause, has no choice but to manifest what your consciousness holds. This is working from cause rather than effect. This is permanent change rather than temporary change. This is transformation rather than surface modification. Here's why this is so important, why understanding this principle can save you years of frustration and wasted effort. When you work from outside in, trying to change your body, to change your feelings, you're constantly fighting against your own consciousness. Your consciousness holds an image of limitation, of age, of decline. But you're trying to change your body anyway through external means. It's like rowing upstream against a powerful current. It requires enormous effort, and willpower and discipline. You have to force yourself. You have to push yourself. You have to constantly monitor and control and manage your behavior. It's exhausting. And the moment you stop applying that tremendous effort, the moment you relax your vigilance, you slide right back to your default state. Because your default state is determined by your consciousness, not by your external actions. Your consciousness hasn't changed. So as soon as external pressure is removed, you return to what your consciousness truly believes about you. But when you work from inside out, when you change your consciousness first, establishing the mental state of youth and vitality before trying to change anything externally, you're rowing downstream. The current is working with you, not against you. You're changing the cause, and the effects must follow automatically, naturally, without force or strain. You don't have to fight. You don't have to push. You simply hold the consciousness of youth and vitality, and your body naturally, inevitably, conforms to that consciousness. Your behavior changes automatically. Your energy changes automatically. Your physical appearance begins changing automatically. Because you've changed the source, the cause, the programmer. This is why external methods fail for most people in the long term. They haven't changed the internal blueprint. They're trying to override their subconscious programming with conscious effort and willpower. And conscious effort is no match for subconscious programming. The subconscious operates 24 hours a day, even while you sleep. Your conscious willpower only operates when you're actively, deliberately thinking about it. The subconscious will always win that battle, unless you change the subconscious programming itself. But when you change the subconscious programming, when you install a new blueprint, at the level of your deepest beliefs and assumptions, everything becomes easy. You don't have to force anything. Your body automatically begins moving, behaving, and feeling according to the new program. Old habits fall away without effort. New behaviors arise naturally. This is the secret to effortless transformation, to permanent change, to lasting renewal. So how long does this take? How long before you see results? People always want to know. They want a timeline, a guarantee, a specific number of days or weeks. And I understand that desire for certainty. But the answer is, it takes as long as you persist in the new assumption. It takes as long as it takes for your consciousness to fully accept and embody the new identity of youth and vitality. Some people see dramatic changes within days or weeks. Margaret saw changes within 3 weeks. Why? Because she accepted the truth completely. She had no resistance. She was desperate enough that her logical mind got out of the way and let her subconscious mind work. Others take longer. It might be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months before they see significant physical evidence. Why the difference? Several factors affect the timing. First, how deeply ingrained was your old programming? If you've spent 70 years accepting and expecting age and decline, that's a lot of programming to override. It will take consistent, persistent reprogramming to establish a new pattern. If you're 40 and just starting to accept limitations, the old programming isn't as deep, so the new programming can take hold faster. Second, how consistent are you with your new programming? Are you doing your visualization every single night without fail? Or do you skip some nights, forget sometimes, get lazy? Are you catching your negative self-talk during the day and replacing it? Or are you visualizing renewal at night and then complaining about your age all day? Consistency determines speed of results. Third, how much faith do you have? Do you truly believe this will work? Or do you have an underlying skepticism? A voice that says this is foolish, nothing will really change. Faith accelerates manifestation. Doubt delays it. Not because the law stops working, but because doubt creates conflicting instructions to your subconscious mind. Fourth, how clearly can you imagine and feel the end result? Some people can create vivid, detailed mental images and feel them deeply. Others struggle with visualization and feeling. The more vivid and felt your impression, the faster your subconscious responds. But here's what I can tell you with absolute certainty. Based on 50 years of teaching these principles and seeing thousands of people apply them, if you persist in the new assumption, if you continue impressing your subconscious mind with images and feelings of youth and vitality, if you maintain your consciousness of renewal despite contrary evidence, despite doubt, despite slow initial progress, results must come. The law never fails. Never. It's as reliable as the law of gravity, the law of mathematics, any natural law you can name. Only our application of the law fails. Only our persistence fails. Only our faith fails. But the law itself is perfect and unfailing. The subconscious mind has its own gestation period, its own perfect timing. Just like a seed planted in the ground needs time to germinate and grow, a seed planted in your subconscious mind needs time to manifest in your outer world. You don't see the seed working underground at first. You don't see the roots forming, spreading, the stem pushing up toward the surface. All this work is happening invisibly, beneath the surface, where your physical eyes cannot see. But the work is happening. And if you don't dig up the seed to check on it, if you don't disturb the process with doubt and impatience, if you water it faithfully with continued impressions and feelings, it will break through the surface in its own perfect timing. Your job, your only job, is not to worry about the how or the when. Your job is to maintain the consciousness of the end result. See yourself youthful and vital. Feel it as already true. Accept it with gratitude. Do this consistently, faithfully, persistently, and let the law of mind, the power of your subconscious, do the rest. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the law. Now I want to address what I call the tyranny of evidence. Because this is the greatest obstacle most people face on their journey to renewal. This is what stops more people from succeeding than anything else. Even when they understand the principle intellectually, even when they want to believe it, even when they're doing the practices. Here's what happens. You start doing your visualization every night. You're impressing your subconscious mind faithfully with images of youth and vitality. You're feeling it. You're accepting it. You're doing everything right. You're excited. You're hopeful. You're committed. But then you wake up one morning, you look in the mirror, and you see the same face. The same wrinkles. The same signs you've been calling age. You feel your body. It feels the same. The same stiffness. The same aches you noticed yesterday. You check for changes, and you don't see any yet, and immediately, doubt floods in. You think, it's not working. Nothing's happening. I must be doing it wrong. Maybe this doesn't work for me. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I've waited too long. Maybe this is just wishful thinking. Positive thinking nonsense. That doesn't actually change anything real. And you feel discouraged. Defeated. Ready to quit. This is the tyranny of evidence. Your physical senses are reporting current conditions, as if they're permanent reality. As if they're fixed. As if they can never change. Your eyes say, look, you're still old. Your body says, feel me, I'm still stiff and tired. Your reflection says, nothing's changed. Nothing will ever change. And you're tempted to believe the evidence more than you believe the principle. You're tempted to accept the verdict of your senses more than you accept the truth of the law. But here's what you must understand, and this is absolutely critical to your success. Evidence is always past tense. What you see in the mirror today, what you feel in your body today, these are the results of your consciousness yesterday, last week, last month, last year, your whole life up to this point. You're looking at the outpicturing, the manifestation, the harvest of old seeds. You're seeing the result of your old programming, your old beliefs, your old assumptions. But right now, in this present moment, you're planting new seeds. You're impressing a new blueprint on your subconscious mind, you're running a new program, and that new program will manifest in its own timing. But it hasn't manifested yet, because there's always a time lag between cause and effect, between impression and manifestation, between planting and harvest. If you plant an apple seed today, you don't expect to see an apple tree tomorrow. You know there's a natural process that takes time. First, the seed must germinate underground. Then a small shoot breaks through the soil. Then it grows into a sapling. Then gradually, over time, into a mature tree that eventually produces fruit. The same principle applies to mental seeds. You plant the seed in your subconscious today. It must germinate, take root, grow, mature. And then, in perfect timing, it manifests as physical evidence. The current condition, what you see right now, is simply the result of past consciousness. It has nothing to do with what's possible now. It has nothing to do with what you're creating right now through your new consciousness. Don't let present appearances dictate your future possibilities. Don't let yesterday's harvest determine tomorrow's planting. This is where most people fail. They judge by appearances. They judge by current effects. They see the condition their body is in right now, and they accept it as unchangeable reality. But the current condition is simply the result of past consciousness. It's already old news by the time you see it. You're looking at history, not future potential. Your job, if you want transformation, is to disregard the evidence. Your job is to persist in your new assumption, despite what your senses report. This is faith. Not blind faith. Not irrational faith. But intelligent faith in a known law. Faith is not believing in something you can't prove. Faith is assuming something is true, before seeing physical evidence of it. Faith is living from the end result, before the means have appeared. Faith is planting the seed, and trusting the harvest will come, even before you see any sign of growth. Every great inventor had to have this kind of faith. Thomas Edison believed in electric light before he created it. He worked for years, through countless failures, never seeing the result he wanted. But he maintained his vision. He maintained his belief. He maintained his assumption that electric light was possible. And eventually, reality caught up with his consciousness. The Wright brothers believed human flight was possible, when everyone said it was impossible. They maintained that belief through failure after failure. And eventually, they flew. You must do the same thing with your body. You must believe in renewal before you see it physically manifested. You must feel youthful before your mirror shows it. You must accept vitality as your reality, despite what your current experience seems to show. This is how you overcome the tyranny of evidence. This is how you break free from the prison of present appearances. This is how you create a new future, instead of perpetuating the past. Let me tell you exactly how to handle doubting moments, because they will come. You will have moments when you question everything. When you think maybe you're fooling yourself. When the evidence seems too strong to ignore. This is normal. This is human. The key is knowing what to do when these moments arise. When you look in the mirror and see no change yet. When you feel tired and wonder if this is working. When your body seems exactly the same and doubt whispers that you're wasting your time. Here's what you do. Don't fight the doubt. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't think you've failed because you had a moment of doubt. Just recognize it for what it is. It's your old programming trying to reassert itself. It's your habitual thinking trying to pull you back to the old pattern. It's the voice of past consciousness trying to maintain control. Acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I see you, doubt. I recognize you. You're the voice of my old beliefs. But you're not my truth anymore. Then immediately, return to your inner conviction. Close your eyes if possible. Take a deep breath. See yourself youthful and vital. Feel the reality of it. Say to yourself, this is the truth. What I see in the mirror right now is the past. What I hold in my consciousness right now is my future. And I'm creating my future in this very moment. My subconscious mind is working on my behalf right now. Evidence will follow. It must follow. This is law. Do this every time doubt arises. Don't argue with it. Don't try to logically convince yourself. Just replace it. Redirect your attention. Refocus your consciousness. The more you do this, the weaker doubt becomes, and the stronger faith becomes. You're training your mind. You're establishing a new habit. You're rewiring your consciousness. Remember, the subconscious mind can only hold one dominant thought at a time. When you're actively holding the thought of youth and vitality, holding the feeling of renewal, there's no room for thoughts of age and decay. It's like light and darkness. You can't have both in the same space at the same time. When you turn on the light, darkness disappears automatically. You don't have to fight darkness. You don't have to push it away. Just turn on the light of your true understanding, the light of your chosen consciousness, and the darkness of doubt cannot remain. Here's another crucial point that will help you persist. The outer world is yesterday's inner world made visible. Everything you're experiencing physically right now is the manifestation of what you were thinking and feeling weeks or months ago. There's a time delay between cause and effect, between consciousness and manifestation. This is actually a protective mechanism. Imagine if every thought manifested instantly. You'd have chaos. One moment of fear or worry would create instant disaster. So there's a buffer, a delay, which gives you time to change your mind, to choose differently, to redirect your consciousness. But this time delay also means you're not seeing the work your subconscious mind is doing right now. You're seeing the results of your old work. So don't be discouraged by current appearances. They're old news. They're yesterday's manifestation. Today, right now, you're creating something new. And that something new will manifest in the future. Be patient. Be persistent. Be faithful. If you change your consciousness now, and maintain that change consistently, you will see results in the future. Not might see. Will see. It's inevitable. It's law. The subconscious mind must manifest what you consistently impress upon it. This is not hope. This is not wishful thinking. This is understanding how creation works, how manifestation works, how the law of mind operates. When you look in the mirror, and see no change yet, recognize that you're looking at the harvest of old seeds. But underground, invisible to your physical eyes, new seeds are germinating. New patterns are forming in your subconscious mind. New cellular instructions are being executed. New chemistry is being activated. The work is happening beneath the surface, in the invisible realm of consciousness, where all creation begins. Trust it. Have faith in it. Know it with certainty. The moment you can persist, despite contrary evidence, the moment you can maintain your inner conviction when outer circumstances seem to contradict it, that's the turning point. That's when you've truly mastered the principle. That's when you've proven to your subconscious mind that you're serious, that you're committed, that you're not going to waver. Your subconscious mind responds to that kind of certainty. It begins yielding to your new assumption. Physical changes begin accelerating. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable. This is the moment of breakthrough. So persist. Persist despite the mirror. Persist despite your current feelings. Persist despite doubt. Persist despite logic that says nothing is changing. Persist because you understand the law, and you trust the law, and you know the law never fails. Your persistence is your power. Your persistence is your proof of faith. Your persistence is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Now, having explained all the principles, having shown you why this works and how to overcome obstacles, let me give you the specific practices, the exact things you will do every single day, to apply this knowledge, to use this power, to transform your life. These are the same practices I use. The same practices Margaret and Thomas and Sarah used. The same practices that have worked for thousands of people who've learned these principles. I'm going to give you 5 practices. You don't need to do all 5 immediately. Start with 1 or 2. Master those. Then add others. Build your practice gradually, making it a natural part of your daily routine, rather than an overwhelming burden that causes you to quit. Practice number 1. The evening renewal ritual. This is the most important practice. If you do nothing else, do this. Every single night before sleep, without exception, perform this ritual. Here's exactly how. Lie in bed. Turn off the lights. Get comfortable. This timing is crucial because your subconscious mind is most receptive when you're in that drowsy state between waking and sleeping. All the power of suggestion, all the ability to impress your subconscious deeply, belongs to this moment. The critical, analytical conscious mind is shutting down. The subconscious mind is open, receptive, ready to receive instructions. Take several slow, deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a moment. Exhale slowly through your mouth. Do this 3 to 5 times. As you breathe, consciously relax your body. Start with your head and face. Relax your forehead, your eyes, your jaw. Let all tension dissolve. Move down to your neck and shoulders. Release any tightness. Continue down through your chest, your arms, your stomach, your legs, all the way to your toes. When you're completely relaxed, physically loose and mentally calm, you're ready to impress your subconscious mind. Now speak to your subconscious mind. You can speak softly out loud, or silently in your mind, whichever feels more natural. But speak with conviction, with authority, with certainty. Say something like this. My subconscious mind is now renewing every cell of my body. Every organ, every tissue, every system is being rebuilt in perfection. I am vital, energetic, and youthful. Infinite intelligence within me is restoring my body to perfect health and vitality. I am grateful for this renewal. I accept it completely. It is done. Use your own words, if you prefer. Create affirmations that resonate with you personally. The important thing is that you're speaking directly to your subconscious mind with absolute conviction and authority. You're not begging. You're not hoping. You're not asking permission. You're stating a fact. You're giving an instruction that must be obeyed. You're claiming your power as the director of your subconscious mind. Now comes the visualization part, and this is where most of the work happens. Close your eyes and see yourself in a scene that implies youthfulness, vitality, perfect health. Don't just see yourself standing there looking young in some vague way. Put yourself in action. In specific situations. Doing specific things that someone vital and youthful would do. Maybe you see yourself running up a flight of stairs effortlessly, taking them 2 at a time. You're breathing easy. Your legs strong. Maybe you see yourself playing in the park with children or grandchildren, running and laughing and keeping up with their endless energy. Maybe you see yourself dancing, your body moving fluidly and gracefully to music. Maybe you see yourself hiking up a mountain trail, reaching the summit and looking out at the vista with satisfaction and joy. Maybe you see yourself looking in the mirror, with a smile of genuine satisfaction on your face. Whatever scene you choose, make it vivid. Make it specific. Make it detailed. See the colors. See the surroundings. See other people's faces, and their reactions to you. See your own body moving with ease and vitality. Make it as real as possible, in your imagination. But here's the most important part. The secret that makes this powerful. Feel it. Don't just watch this scene like you're watching a movie. Be in the scene, experience it. Feel the sensations in your body, as you move. If you're running upstairs, feel your legs pushing. Feel your lungs breathing easily. Feel the strength and power in your body. If you're playing with children, feel their hands in yours. Feel your own laughter. Feel the pure joy and aliveness. If you're looking in the mirror, feel the satisfaction. Feel the pride. Feel the gratitude. Emotion is the secret. Feeling is what impresses the subconscious deeply and permanently. You must feel the reality of this scene. Feel it so deeply that you forget you're visualizing. Feel it so completely that it becomes more real to you than your current physical condition. This depth of feeling is what gives your visualization creative power. Do this for 3 to 5 minutes. Don't rush it. Really sink into the scene. Really feel it. Let yourself be completely absorbed in this reality. And then, while still in this feeling state, say thank you. Thank your subconscious mind for creating this reality. Thank infinite intelligence for renewing your body. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude is the seal of acceptance. It affirms that what you've been visualizing is already done, already accomplished, already yours. Now, and this is crucial, drift off to sleep in this feeling. Don't suddenly switch gears and start thinking about your problems, your day, your worries. Don't start planning tomorrow. Just sink into sleep with the feeling of youth and vitality still alive in your consciousness. Your subconscious mind will work on this all night long. Every hour you're asleep, it will take your last conscious thoughts and use them as instructions for rebuilding your body during sleep, which is when most cellular regeneration happens. Why does this practice work so powerfully? Because sleep is when your subconscious mind does its deepest work. Your body literally rebuilds itself during sleep. Cells regenerate. Tissues repair. Systems restore themselves. Hormones are balanced. Everything that needs healing and renewal happens primarily during sleep. And all of this happens according to the blueprint, the program, the instructions in your subconscious mind. When you fall asleep holding thoughts and feelings of youth and vitality, you're giving your subconscious mind the blueprint to use during this nightly rebuilding process. You're programming the renewal. You're directing the regeneration. You're instructing your subconscious to rebuild your body according to the pattern of youth and vitality rather than the pattern of age and decay. The last thoughts you think before sleep impress most deeply, because there's no conscious interference, no critical mind to question, or doubt, or resist. Your analytical mind has shut down for the night. Your subconscious mind is wide open to suggestion, to impression, to new programming. This is why this evening practice, more than any other, has the power to transform your physical experience. People ask me, how long should I do this? My answer is, do it until it becomes natural, until it becomes automatic, until you can't imagine going to sleep any other way. Usually this takes about 21 to 30 days to become a habit, a natural part of your routine. After that, you'll actually look forward to it. It becomes the best part of your day, this sacred time when you connect with your subconscious mind and plant seeds of renewal. What if you fall asleep in the middle of your visualization? Perfect. That's actually ideal. Falling asleep while visualizing is a sign of complete acceptance, complete letting go. Your conscious mind has released control, and your subconscious mind has received the impression perfectly. Don't worry that you didn't finish. The impression was made. The seed was planted. Your subconscious knows what to do. What if you can't visualize clearly? What if you can't see vivid pictures in your mind? Don't worry. Not everyone can see detailed images. Some people's minds work differently. If you can't see, then feel. Just focus on the feeling of what you're describing. Feel vitality, without needing to see a specific scene. Feel energy, without needing visual details. Feeling is actually more important than seeing anyway. The subconscious responds more to emotion than to images. What if you forget some nights? Life happens. You're exhausted. You fall asleep before doing your practice. Don't feel guilty. Don't think you've failed or ruined everything. Just resume the next night. One missed night doesn't undo your work. But try to be consistent. Make this a priority. This is your life. Your body. Your future you're creating. Surely it deserves 10 minutes of your attention before sleep. Practice number 2. The Morning Identity Declaration. This practice takes only 2 or 3 minutes, but sets the tone for your entire day. Do this every morning upon waking, before you even get out of bed, before you look at your phone, before you start thinking about all the things you have to do. The moment you wake up, while you're still in that transitional state between sleep and full waking consciousness, declare your identity. This is crucial, because you're programming yourself before your default patterns can take over. You're claiming your truth before the world, and its demands can impose their reality on you. If there's a mirror nearby, look at it. If not, just close your eyes and visualize yourself. And with conviction, with authority, with absolute certainty, speak these or similar declarations. I am youthful in mind and body. Infinite life flows through me now. My body is renewed every moment. I am filled with boundless energy and vitality. Every cell of my being is vibrating with health and youth. I move through this day with enthusiasm and joy. I am grateful for this magnificent body that serves me perfectly. I accept perfect health as my birthright. It is mine now. Use these affirmations, or create your own, that resonate more deeply with you. The key elements are present tense, not future. I am, not I will be. First person. I statements. And most importantly, say it with feeling and conviction. Don't just mouth the words mechanically. Believe them as you say them. Feel them as you say them. Mean them with every fiber of your being. Ignore any evidence to the contrary. Don't look at yourself and think, but I don't look youthful. This is a lie. Remember, what you see now is yesterday's consciousness made visible. You're not describing current appearances. You're declaring future reality. You're claiming what is true in consciousness even before it manifests physically. Why does morning matter so much? Because you're reprogramming immediately after your subconscious mind has spent all night regenerating your body according to your evening instructions. You're building on that work. You're reinforcing it. You're continuing the programming into your waking hours. The first thoughts you think in the morning set the mental pattern for the entire day. If your first thoughts are negative, if you wake up and immediately think about how tired you are, how old you feel, how much you dread the day ahead, you're setting a negative pattern that will influence your whole day. But when you wake up and immediately declare your truth, immediately claim your identity as vital and youthful, immediately set a positive expectation, you're starting the day from a position of power. You're establishing the consciousness you want to maintain throughout the day. You're not letting circumstances dictate your state of mind. You're choosing your state of mind and letting it dictate your experience of circumstances. This builds new neural pathways in your brain. Scientists now understand that your brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can change and reorganize itself based on your thoughts and experiences. Every time you think a thought, you're strengthening certain neural pathways and weakening others. When you repeat affirmations with feeling every morning, you're strengthening the neural pathways of youthful consciousness and weakening the pathways of aging consciousness. Over time, weeks and months of consistent practice, youthful consciousness becomes your default state. You won't have to work at it anymore. You won't have to remember to think positive thoughts. It will be automatic. Your habitual thinking will have shifted from limitation to possibility, from age to youth, from decay to renewal. And when your habitual thinking changes, your life experience must change to match it. Practice number 3. The mirror technique reimagined. This practice happens throughout your day. Every time you encounter a mirror, it's about transforming your relationship with mirrors from an instrument of self-criticism to a tool of self-renewal. Most people have a terrible, destructive relationship with mirrors. They look in the mirror, and they immediately criticize. They focus on every flaw, every wrinkle, every sign they interpret as aging. They compare themselves to their younger self, or to others. They feel disappointment, dissatisfaction, sometimes even disgust. And every one of these criticisms, every one of these negative judgments, is an order to the subconscious mind, an instruction to create more of what you're criticizing. Your subconscious mind hears you say, "I hate these wrinkles," and it says, "Okay, you want to focus on wrinkles, I'll make them more prominent." You say, "I look so old," and it says, "Okay, old is what you want. I'll create more of that experience." We're going to completely reverse this pattern. From now on, every time you look in a mirror, you're going to deliberately see what you want to see, not what currently appears. You're going to use the mirror as a tool of visualization, as a portal to your future self. Look in the mirror and consciously, deliberately ignore the present appearance. I know that sounds difficult. I know your eyes will see what's there. But don't let your mind accept it as permanent or important. Recognize it as temporary, as yesterday's harvest, as something that's changing even now. Then, while looking at your reflection, say either out loud or silently in your mind statements like these. I see health, youth, and vitality in this body. I see the work of infinite intelligence renewing every cell. I see my true self, eternally youthful and vital. I see beauty and strength. I see the life force flowing through me powerfully. I give thanks for this magnificent temple that houses my spirit. And here's something crucial. Smile at yourself. Every time you look in a mirror, smile. Not a fake smile. A real smile of satisfaction and appreciation. Smiling has multiple benefits. First, it actually changes your biochemistry. Smiling triggers the release of endorphins and serotonin, chemicals that make you feel good. Second, smiling relaxes your facial muscles, reducing tension that creates lines. Third, a smiling face looks younger than a frowning face. But most importantly, smiling at yourself is an act of self-love, self-acceptance, self-approval. And that positive emotion impresses your subconscious mind deeply. Do this every time you pass a mirror. Every single time. In bathrooms, in stores, in your car, anywhere you see your reflection. Turn every mirror encounter into a positive programming session, instead of a negative one. You're reconditioning yourself. You're breaking decades of habit of self-criticism, and building a new habit of self-affirmation. Here's an advanced version of this technique for when you've built some skill and faith. When you look in the mirror, visualize your ideal image superimposed on your reflection. See yourself as you want to be, overlaying the image of how you currently appear. It's like a double exposure photograph. You see both images at once. Hold this double image for a moment. Feel gratitude for the transformation that's in process. Feel certainty that what you're seeing in your mind's eye is becoming your physical reality. Your subconscious mind will begin manifesting what you persistently see and feel, even if it contradicts current appearances. Now, I must give you an important warning. If this mirror technique feels too difficult at first, if looking in mirrors brings up too much negative emotion that you can't yet override, then temporarily avoid mirrors as much as possible. Don't force yourself. Don't set yourself up for failure. Use the evening and morning practices first. Build your faith and inner conviction. Then return to this mirror technique when you're stronger, when you have more certainty, when you can look at your reflection without being pulled into negative judgment. It's better to avoid mirrors temporarily than to look at them multiple times a day and criticize yourself. Every criticism is programming your subconscious negatively. So, if you're not yet able to look at your reflection and maintain positive consciousness, just skip this practice for now. Come back to it later when you've built a stronger foundation. Practice number 4. The Youthful Activity Principle. This is about bringing your body into alignment with your mental work. It's about proving to your subconscious mind through action that you truly believe what you're affirming. Every single day, do at least one activity that you've been avoiding because you thought you were too old for it, too tired for it, not capable of it anymore. This doesn't have to be extreme or dangerous. It just has to be something that challenges your self-imposed limitations. Maybe you've stopped taking stairs because you thought they were too hard on your knees. Take the stairs. Start with 1 flight. Next week, 2 flights. Gradually build. Maybe you stopped dancing because you thought you were too old or too stiff. Put on music you love and dance in your living room. Nobody's watching. Nobody's judging. Just move your body to music and feel the joy of it. Maybe you've stopped playing actively with children or grandchildren because you thought you'd get too tired or hurt yourself. Get down on the floor and play. Build blocks. Play catch. Run around. Let yourself be silly and playful. Maybe you've always wanted to learn something new but thought you were too old. A language, an instrument, a craft, a technology. Start learning it. Take a class. Watch tutorials. Challenge your brain. The specific activity doesn't matter. What matters is that you're proving to your subconscious mind that you believe you're youthful and capable. You're not just saying it, you're living it. You're acting from the end result, rather than from current limitations. And this creates a powerful feedback loop between mind and body. Here's how the feedback loop works. When you do a youthful activity, your body responds by producing energy and capability to match the demand. This response proves to your mind that you're more capable than you thought. This proof strengthens your belief. Your strengthened belief then allows you to do even more. Your increased activity further proves your capability. Around and around, each reinforcing the other, creating an upward spiral of increasing vitality. But there's also a chemical component. Physical movement, especially movement that brings joy, triggers beneficial hormones and neurotransmitters. Endorphins that make you feel good. Dopamine that motivates you. Serotonin that stabilizes your mood. Growth hormone that repairs tissues. All of these chemicals are associated with youth and vitality. By moving your body joyfully, you're literally creating a more youthful biochemical environment. And there's a consciousness component. When you act youthful, you feel youthful. When you feel youthful, you think youthful thoughts. When you think youthful thoughts, you program your subconscious mind for youth. It all works together. Mind and body are not separate. They're two aspects of one unified system. Change one, and you change the other. But here's something important about balance and wisdom. Don't force yourself to the point of injury or exhaustion. That would contradict the entire principle of youth. Youthful people have energy, but they also listen to their bodies. They challenge themselves, but they don't harm themselves. They expand their limits, gradually, intelligently, with joy rather than with strain. Choose activities that genuinely bring you joy, that make you feel alive, that expand your sense of what's possible for you. Start where you are. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. This is your journey. Your body. Your transformation. Move at your own pace. But do move. Every day, challenge yourself in some small way, and watch as your body responds by becoming more capable, more energetic, more youthful. Practice number 5. Continuous silent prayer. This is the advanced practice. The practice that accelerates everything else. The practice that transforms your entire consciousness throughout the day. Not just during specific practice times. Throughout your day, whenever you think of it, whenever negative thoughts arise, silently acknowledge the truth of your being. This is the practice of vigilance, of awareness, of continuous redirection. You're watching your thoughts. You're guarding your consciousness. You're refusing to let negative programming run unchallenged. When you feel tired in the middle of the day, don't accept it and dwell on it. Don't complain about it. Instead, silently say in your mind, "Infinite energy flows through me now. I am renewed. I am refreshed. I am vital." When you feel stiffness or discomfort in your body, don't focus on it and magnify it. Instead, silently affirm, "My body is healing and renewing now. Every cell is being restored to perfect function." When you notice yourself moving slowly or heavily, don't accept it as permanent. Instead, affirm, "I move with grace and ease. My body is light and energetic." When someone makes a comment about your age, whether they mean it as an insult or even as a compliment, Don't accept their verdict about you. Silently, in your own mind, affirm your truth. When someone says, "You're looking old," or, "At your age you shouldn't," silently respond in your own consciousness, "I am ageless. I am eternal. I am youthful in spirit and body." Don't argue with them out loud, necessarily. Just don't accept their programming. Maintain your own truth internally. This is the practice of continuous redirection. You're catching negative thoughts the moment they arise, and immediately replacing them with positive ones. You're not letting false beliefs accumulate unchallenged throughout your day. You're not doing all your positive programming at night, and then thinking negatively all day. You're building momentum continuously, thought by thought, moment by moment. Why does continuous practice matter so much? Because transformation happens through consistency, not through intensity. It's not about one perfect hour of visualization. It's about maintaining youthful consciousness continuously. It's about making youth your default setting, your habitual way of thinking about yourself, not just something you think about during practice time. Your consciousness is like a stream. If you dam it up at night with your evening practice but then let it flow back into old channels all day, you're working against yourself. But if you keep the stream flowing in the new direction all day long, continuously redirecting it, whenever it tries to flow back to the old pattern, then the new channel gets deeper and deeper until it becomes the natural, automatic flow. Here's what will happen as you persist in this practice. The first week, you'll need to consciously remember to do this. You'll catch yourself thinking negatively, and you'll have to deliberately, consciously replace those thoughts. You'll forget sometimes. You'll fall back into old patterns. That's normal. That's okay. Just redirect as soon as you remember. The second week, it becomes a bit easier and more natural. You're catching negative thoughts a little faster. The redirection is becoming more automatic. You're building a new habit. The third week, you're starting to catch yourself before the negative thought fully forms. You're intercepting it earlier in the process. You're becoming more aware, more vigilant. By the fourth week and beyond, the new pattern is becoming dominant. You're naturally, automatically thinking thoughts of youth and vitality, more often than thoughts of age and limitation. The old negative pattern is losing its power, its automatic quality. It still arises sometimes, but it no longer controls you. You're in control. You choose your thoughts rather than being at the mercy of habitual patterns. Eventually, and this is the ultimate goal, your default mental state becomes youthful consciousness. You're no longer fighting against aging thoughts. You're no longer trying to maintain positive thinking against a tide of negativity. Youth has become your natural assumption, your automatic way of thinking about yourself. You're no longer trying to believe it. You just do believe it. It's become your truth. And when something becomes your truth at the deepest level of consciousness, your body must reflect it. This is law. Now let me give you some final practical guidance about these practices. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to implement all 5 perfectly starting tomorrow. That's a recipe for failure and frustration. Start with the most important one, the evening renewal ritual. Make that non-negotiable. Do it every single night for at least 2 weeks, until it becomes natural, until it's as automatic as brushing your teeth. Then add the morning declaration. Just 2 or 3 minutes in the morning. Easy. Simple. Powerful. Do both of these consistently for another week or 2. Then add one of the others. Maybe the youthful activity principle. Choose one activity, and do it daily. Build momentum gradually. The mirror technique, and continuous silent prayer. These can be added whenever you feel ready. They're more advanced in the sense that they require more awareness, more presence, more conscious participation throughout the day. But even these become natural with practice. Consistency beats intensity, every single time. It's better to do a simple practice every single day than to do an elaborate, complicated practice once a week. The subconscious mind responds to repetition, to consistency, to persistent impression. It's learning a new pattern, and learning happens through consistent practice over time, not through occasional intense effort. Trust the process. Trust the law. Trust yourself. The law of mind never fails. Never. It's working right now. Your subconscious mind is receiving your impressions and beginning to manifest them. You may not see evidence immediately, but the work is happening beneath the surface, in the invisible realm, where all creation begins. Be patient, be persistent, be faithful. Remember those stories I shared with you at the beginning. Margaret, Thomas, Sarah, myself. We're not special. We don't have abilities you don't have. We simply applied these principles consistently. We persisted when evidence was contrary. We maintained faith when logic said nothing was changing. We trusted the law even when we couldn't yet see the results. And the law rewarded our faith. The law manifested our assumptions. The law created what we impressed upon our subconscious minds. You can do exactly the same thing. You have the same mind, the same power, the same creative, subconscious, the same infinite intelligence flowing through you. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is consistent application of these principles over time. My dear friend, we've covered so much ground together in this time we've shared. But let me distill it all down to its purest essence, to the core truth that everything else builds upon. Youth is not a function of time, it's a function of mind. Your body is being created fresh every single moment by your subconscious mind, which takes its orders from your habitual thinking and feeling. For years, maybe decades, you've been unconsciously programming decay and limitation, not deliberately, not maliciously. You didn't know you were doing it. You were just accepting what everyone else accepts, believing what everyone else believes, following the mass hypnosis of society. But now you know different. Now you know the truth. And the truth has set you free. From this moment forward, you can consciously program renewal and vitality. You can take control of the only thing you truly can control, which is your consciousness, your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions, your feelings. And when you control your consciousness, you control your life experience, including your physical body. Remember these key truths. Carry them with you. Let them become the foundation of your new consciousness. Your subconscious mind is the builder of your body. It creates according to your beliefs and feelings, not according to time, or age, or genetic destiny. Youth is a state of consciousness, not a chronological condition. You can have it at any age, if you claim it, if you believe it, if you live from it. The formula is simple. Impression, plus feeling, plus acceptance. Create the mental image of yourself as vital and youthful. Feel the reality of it with deep emotion. Accept it as already done with gratitude. Do this consistently, persistently, faithfully. And you must persist, despite evidence. You must maintain your inner conviction even when outer circumstances seem to contradict it, because evidence is always yesterday's consciousness made visible. What you see now is the past. What you hold in consciousness now is your future. Those stories I shared with you throughout this teaching, Margaret's transformation, Thomas's healing, Sarah's renewed energy, my own journey, they're not exceptional cases. They're not miracles in the supernatural sense. They're proof that this law works for anyone who applies it correctly, consistently, with faith. You have the same mind, the same power, the same creative subconscious. The only difference between them and you at this moment is that they applied what you've just learned. And now it's your turn. Now you step into your power. Now you claim your inheritance of renewal. I want to leave you with an affirmation, words of power that contain the entire teaching in condensed form. I want you to speak these words with me right now. Feel them in your heart. Let them penetrate deep into your consciousness. Accept them as your truth. Are you ready? Close your eyes if you can, place your hand on your heart, and say these words with me. Out loud if possible, or silently with deep conviction. Infinite intelligence within me is renewing my entire body now. Every cell, every organ, every tissue, every system is being rebuilt in perfection. I am youthful in mind and body. Divine life flows through me powerfully, constantly, perfectly, and I am restored to radiant health and vitality. I move with grace and ease. I think with clarity and wisdom. I feel enthusiasm and joy. I am grateful for this magnificent body that serves me so faithfully. I am grateful for the power of my consciousness to create my experience. I am grateful for this renewal that is happening right now, even before I see physical evidence. I accept this with deep gratitude and absolute certainty. It is done, and so it is. Carry these words with you. Speak them every morning when you wake. Speak them every evening before sleep. Let them become the background music of your consciousness, playing constantly, reminding you of your truth, programming your subconscious mind for renewal. Let them replace the old thoughts of limitation and aging that used to run automatically in your mind. Your transformation begins tonight. Not someday. Not when you feel ready. Not when conditions are perfect. Tonight. Before you sleep tonight, you will do that first evening renewal ritual. You will relax your body completely. You will speak to your subconscious mind with authority and conviction. You will see yourself vital and youthful. You will feel the reality of it deeply, emotionally, completely. You will give thanks for the renewal that is already in process. And you will drift off to sleep in that feeling, that state of acceptance, that consciousness of renewal. Tomorrow morning, you will wake up, and before doing anything else, before checking your phone, before worrying about your day, you will declare your identity. You will claim your truth. You will program yourself for youth and vitality before the world can impose its limiting beliefs on you. And day by day, night by night, morning by morning, you will watch as your faithful subconscious mind begins manifesting the blueprint you've given it. Changes will come. Some you'll notice immediately, subtle shifts in how you feel, how you sleep, how you move. Others will be noticed by people around you before you see them yourself. Your energy will increase. Your movements will become more fluid. Your face will begin to reflect the inner light of renewed consciousness. Your eyes will sparkle with life. Your voice will carry strength. Your presence will radiate vitality. This isn't magic, my friend. This isn't wishful thinking or positive affirmations that have no real power. This is law. Scientific law, as reliable as the law of gravity, the law of mathematics, any physical law you can name. Consciousness is causative. Mind is creative. Belief manifests as experience. This has been proven millions of times throughout history. And now it's going to be proven once again in your life. Scientists may not understand it fully. They may not be able to explain the mechanism in purely physical terms. Doctors may call your results unusual, unexpected, medically improbable. But you and I, we know the truth. We know that consciousness comes first, that mind creates matter, that the invisible realm of thought and feeling gives birth to the visible realm of physical experience. Now, if this teaching has resonated with you, if you feel that spark of hope and possibility igniting in your chest, if something in you recognizes this truth, and wants to embrace it fully, I ask you to do 3 simple, but important things. First, subscribe to this channel so you can continue receiving these teachings, these principles, these truths that can transform your life in every area, not just physically but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, relationally. There is so much more wisdom to share with you. So many more principles to explore. So many more practices to learn. And I want to walk this journey with you. I want to be your guide, your teacher, your companion on this path of conscious creation. Subscribe so we can continue this sacred conversation. Second, click the like button below this video. It's such a small gesture, just a click, but it carries profound importance. It tells me this message is reaching the people who need it most. It tells the algorithm to share this video with more people who are searching for these truths. It helps others who are desperate, hopeless, defeated by their physical condition to find this teaching and discover their own power to transform. Think about it. Someone out there right now, maybe at this very moment, is looking in the mirror with tears streaming down their face. They feel old, finished, useless. They've given up hope that anything can change. They need this message. They need to hear these truths. They need to know about the power of their own consciousness. Your like might be what brings this video to their attention. Your small action might change someone's entire life. That's how important it is. That's how much your participation matters. Third, and this is perhaps most important, leave a comment below this video, and tell me what is one thing you're going to start doing differently today. What will be your first step toward renewal? Are you going to start the evening renewal ritual tonight? Are you going to change how you talk to yourself in the morning? Are you going to do one youthful activity today that you've been avoiding? Are you going to stop criticizing yourself when you look in mirrors? Share your experience. Share your commitment. Share your journey. When you declare your intention publicly, you're making a covenant with your subconscious mind. You're sealing your commitment. You're moving from passive hearing to active participation. You're crossing the line from listener to practitioner. And that makes all the difference. And I promise you this. I read every single comment. Every one. I may not be able to respond to all of them because there are so many, but I read them all. Your words inspire me, your stories move me. Your commitment encourages me to keep teaching, keep sharing, keep serving, and your words might inspire someone else who reads the comments, someone who needs to hear that they're not alone, that others are on this same journey, that transformation is possible, we're all on this path together. We're all learning, growing, evolving, transforming. Your story is part of the larger story of human consciousness, awakening to its own creative power. Share it. Add your voice. Be part of the community of conscious creators, who are proving every day that mind is master, that consciousness is causative, that we are not victims of circumstance, but creators of experience. Remember, my dear friend, and please take this deeply into your heart. Youth begins within. It always has. It always will. The fountain of eternal renewal is not somewhere out there in some distant paradise, some magical land, some future technology. It's not in a pill or a treatment or a procedure. It's within you right now, at this very moment. It's your consciousness. It's your subconscious mind responding faithfully to your beliefs and feelings. It's infinite intelligence flowing through you, ready to create whatever you impress upon it. You've always had this power. You were born with it. It's your birthright as a conscious being. It's your inheritance as a child of the infinite. You didn't need me to give it to you. You just needed someone to remind you that you have it, to show you how to use it, to give you permission to claim it. Now you know. Now you remember. Now you're awakened to your own creative potential. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Before you start. Perfect conditions never come. Don't wait until you feel completely ready. You'll never feel completely ready. Don't wait for more proof, more evidence, more certainty. Faith comes from acting, not from waiting. Start now. Start tonight. Plant the seed in your subconscious mind tonight. Water it with faith and feeling, and watch it grow into the magnificent reality of renewed youth and vitality. You are not your age. You are not your body's current condition. You are not your past. You are not what others say you are. You are not what society expects you to be. You are consciousness. You are creative power. You are infinite potential in individualized form. You are a point where infinite intelligence becomes aware of itself and expresses itself in physical form. And you have the power, right now, to direct that intelligence toward renewal, toward vitality, toward youth. God bless you, my dear friend. God bless you richly and abundantly. And until we meet again in the next teaching, know that infinite intelligence is guiding you toward your highest good every moment of every day. Know that your subconscious mind is your faithful servant, ready and willing, and able to create whatever you impress upon it consistently. Know that you are more powerful than you ever imagined, more capable than you ever believed, more unlimited than you ever dared to dream. The best is yet to come. Truly. The best days of your life can be right now and tomorrow, and next week, and next year. Your most vital years can be ahead of you, not behind you. Your greatest adventures, your deepest joys, your most profound experiences can all be in your future, regardless of how many years you've been alive. Age is just a number. Youth is a state of consciousness. And consciousness can change in an instant. Thank you for spending this sacred time with me. Thank you for opening your mind and your heart to these eternal truths. Thank you for being willing to believe in possibilities that others might dismiss as impossible. Thank you for having the courage to step outside the mass hypnosis